It was a coffee cup on the counter that started the silence. I remember the rim, tiny chip on the side, and the way it sat, like it belonged to a different house than the one we built together. I picked it up, and everything that had been simmering for months turned into a week of cold, quiet rooms.
If you're listening and you feel that tightness behind your chest, like a small thing just flipped a switch, you are not alone. Today, I'm telling the story of that Saturday, how a tiny unspoken rule blew up, and how a simple, non-legal we contract helped us stop weaponizing hurt and start protecting dignity.
Welcome back to SNJ Pride. I'm James. If you've ever been in a fight where both of you leave the room thinking the other did something monstrous, when really it was an expectation that was never said, that's what we're unpacking today.
This episode is practical, but it's lived. We're not lawyers here. We're not therapists. We're two guys who've been together more than a decade, and we learned this the hard way. By the end of this episode, you'll have a trauma-aware 10-minute drafting script to try with your person, 3 starter templates you can adapt, and a 1-month experiment to test your agreements without weaponizing them.
Why unwritten rules hurt us, because assumptions become failures. A partner thinks, of course we'd tell each other if we invite someone over. The other partner thinks, it was just a friend. Those differences live in the silent corners, and then, over time, they build a private history of hurt. That's what happened to us.
Let me take you back to that Saturday. We had plans, nothing big. Laundry, a late brunch, maybe a movie at home. I went out to grab coffee, and I came back to find James's phone face down on the counter, and a message, small but crossing a line for me, a folded plan I wasn't part of. I didn't ask about the message. Instead, I went quiet. And here's the hard part. I let the quiet do the talking for me.
I remember that afternoon. I saw him pick up the phone, then I saw him close his mouth like he swallowed a word. I didn't know what I had done. I thought I'd handled everything respectfully. I'd told him it was a friend from out of town. I'd said it would be quick. But I missed asking the question that mattered most. How did Sam want me to share that news? I missed the invitation.
We didn't fight out loud. We didn't shout. We shut down. Meals were eaten in different rooms. I'd assumed he'd see my silence and come find me. He assumed my silence meant I needed space. Days passed. The thing about silence is that it becomes a loud storyteller. Your mind fills the blanks with scenarios, some of them monstrous.
And then, this is when the truth landed. We realized this wasn't about the phone. It was about 1,000 small, unspoken expectations. Who gets to invite people over? How we handle borrowed money? What privacy looks like in our home? How much notice we give each other before plans? We were carrying a list of rules that weren't written down, and somehow thought love alone would protect us from misunderstanding.
From where I sat, it felt like we had the same goal, protect our home and each other. But our maps for getting there were different. I didn't want to be policed. He didn't want surprises that felt like small betrayals. That's when I said out loud, we need language for this.
We decided to write a we contract. Let me be clear, it's not legal, it's not a list of ultimatums. It's a living set of agreements, values first, then practical roles, designed to keep dignity, reduce guesswork, and make repair possible when we inevitably mess up.
What a we contract is. A short, values-driven document that names what matters to you as a couple, clarifies basic roles, like who handles shared bills, sets simple privacy boundaries, spells out intimacy expectations in broad consent-first terms, and has an emergency plan. It is reversible, revisable, and consent-first. The point is clarity, so feelings don't have to carry all the weight.
And what it isn't, it's not punishment, it's not a bargaining chip to shame each other. We built in ethical guardrails. Agreements must be mutual, they must be revisable, and nothing in here should be used to control the other person. If an agreement feels like a power play, that's a red flag to talk to a therapist.
Okay, practical moment. I'm going to lead a guided 10-minute drafting exercise. You can do this alone to get your thoughts, but this works best with your partner present. If you're listening by yourself, take notes. If you're with your person, put phones away and speak honestly. We'll move through values, money roles, privacy, intimacy expectations, an emergency plan, and a simple check-in rhythm. First minute, values. Spend 1 minute each saying out loud the top 3 words you want your relationship to stand for. Say them as simple phrases. We choose respect. We prioritize safety. We honor truth. No exclamation right now, just 3 words or short phrases. Ready? Go.
If either of you feel stuck, try this. Ask, what would I defend even when I'm tired? That helps words like respect or privacy come to life. Take a breath, and when you're ready, say them out loud to each other.
Minute 3, money roles. Each person names one thing they expect around shared money. Keep it short. We list shared expenses monthly. Major purchases over X dollars are discussed first. Or, if one of us lends money to family, we tell the other. Write that down. No judgment, just facts.
Minute 5, privacy and disclosure. Take 2 minutes to say what privacy means for you. Is it a closed phone during work hours? Is it notifying the other before bringing someone into our home? Start with, for me, privacy looks like, and finish the sentence. Keep it about boundaries, not secrets. If something feels like a secret that could hurt the other person, add it to a later conversation, not to this list.
And please remember, privacy is not permission to hide harm. If there's coercion or abuse, that's outside the scope of this exercise and needs professional help. Use the privacy item to protect dignity, not to shield harm.
Minute 7, intimacy expectations. This isn't about sexual detail, it's about the simple stuff. Say, I need a heads up if you want to invite physical intimacy after an argument. Or, I prefer cuddling after a stressful day before talking. 1 sentence each. What helps you feel safe to be intimate? Minute 9, emergency plan and repair. Identify one person to call in a real emergency. 1 short step to take if trust is broken. For example, we schedule a check-in within 48 hours and use the same evening to apologize and name what happened. And agree on a pause phrase, a neutral sentence you can use when things escalate. Let's pause and check this later.
Minute 10, 1-line closing statement. Each of you completes the sentence, I agree to this because. Say it out loud. That's your emotional anchor. Why you want clarity over chaos. Keep it short. We used, I agree because I want our home to be safe and honest.
Pause. If you wrote anything that felt like weaponry, phrases that start with, you'll never, or if you do this, I'll, cross those out. Agreements must be mutual, not punishments. If something reads like a threat, that needs a longer conversation or a therapist's help.
Now, 3 quick starter templates you can adapt. I'll read them and then say what they meant for us. Template 1, conflict response. When conflict arises, we agree to a 15-minute cool down. After 15 minutes, we meet and speak for 10 minutes each without interruption. If the issue persists, we schedule a 30-minute check-in within 72 hours.
What that did for us was remove weapons. The cool-down clause meant we couldn't stew and then explode. It forced a moment of pause and a timeline for repair. No indefinite silence.
Template 2, financial transparency. We maintain a shared list of joint monthly expenses. Any purchase over $200 must be discussed in advance. If one of us lends money to family that impacts shared finances, we commit to telling the other within 72 hours.
Small rule. The dollar amount is not sacred. It's what triggers discussion for your lives. For us, $200 felt right. For you, it could be more or less. The point is the conversation before the act, not the exact figure.
Template 3. Privacy and disclosure. We agree to notify each other when inviting guests into our home at least 24 hours in advance, except for emergencies. We will not share photos or identifying details of our friends or family publicly without consent. If one of us starts dating someone new, we will have a conversation about disclosure timelines.
That clause saved us from a lot of jealousy and confusion. It honored boundaries for both our families and our friendship circles. It also protected privacy for people who weren't expecting a spotlight.
Next, how to test agreements without weaponizing them. First, weekly 15-minute check-ins for 1 month. Keep it procedural. What worked? What felt hard? What needs revising? Second, a "we messed up" ritual. Name the mistake, own it in 1 sentence, and name 1 action to repair. No long lists of past wrongs, just the immediate repair.
We also added a rule. No clause can be used to reopen settled disputes. Once repaired, it's done, unless both partners agree to revisit. That helped us avoid scorekeeping. Agreements are living, but they're not a scoreboard.
A 1-month experiment looks like this. Week 1, draft and sign the first short version. Week 2, use the 15-minute check-in. Week 3, note any language that felt like a trap. Week 4, revise and commit to a monthly check-in. At the end, decide if you want to keep, revise, or pause the contract.
I want to offer a real example from our kitchen. When Sam went quiet after that phone message, my instinct was to defend. Instead, because we had the cool-down rule later, I learned to say, "I hear you. I see I'm in your space. Can we pause and meet in 30 minutes?" That small sentence changed everything. It turned a silent day into a fixable one.
From my side, the contract gave me permission to name my needs without feeling dramatic. Instead of letting silence be the punishment, I could say, "That surprise made me feel excluded. Can we agree to notify each other about overnight guests?" Naming the feeling and naming the request. That was the heart of it.
If you're worried this feels like paperwork for romance, yes, I get that. It did feel a little clinical at first. But what we learned is that rituals and language are what keep affection alive under stress. Contracts don't replace tenderness. They protect it.
I want to speak directly to anyone listening who feels scared of making agreements because it feels like losing spontaneity or turning love into a ledger. You are not giving your relationship to a bureaucracy. You're buying back safety. Start small. 1 clause, 1 check-in. If you're listening right after a fight and you feel raw, breathe. Take 5 minutes and write a single line. When X happens, we will do Y. That's it. You can start there.
And to the listener who worries their partner will use a contract to control them, your fear is real. If agreements feel weaponized, that's a boundary violation. That's a red flag. Talk to a trusted friend, a community resource, or a therapist. We're not saying paperwork fixes abuse. It doesn't. It helps partners who actually want to protect each other.
A quick ethics check. Agreements must be mutual. They must allow revision, and they must never be used to shame or punish. If you notice a clause being waved like a club, stop, pause the contract, get help. Agreements should be a path to repair, not a path to control.
We are not therapists. We are not lawyers. If your agreement touches high-stakes issues, custody, immigration, legal finances, talk to a professional. And if trauma comes up as you draft, please consider a therapist to guide you through it. Agreements can reopen old wounds, and that's okay. Healing often looks messy, but don't do the heavy lifting alone.
If you're going to try this with your partner this week, start with a single clause. Try the 15-minute check-in for 1 month. And if you want to share, DM us or comment "I hear you" with 1 clause you'd include. If you prefer privacy, send an anonymous voicemail, link in the show notes. We read messages, and we learn from you.
Tell us, what single rule would make your home safer? No judgment, just 1 line. We read these and sometimes share anonymous ones that help other people. And if you're uncomfortable posting, "I hear you" is a powerful little note that tells us you're here.
Thank you for sitting with us today. If this episode landed for you, if it made you feel seen or gave you a tiny tool to try, please take it slow and be kind to each other. We are living proof that clarity and care can keep a relationship alive through the small and the big stuff.
We're still learning. We keep choosing each other. Keep going. You've got this.
This is SNJ Pride. I'm Samnang, and I'm James. You're not alone. We'll see you next time.